Good morning, this is Melanie Sebastian, and today I will be working on a geometrics assignment about PowerPoint, and it's called Design and Video Format Tabs, because we're going to do the Design tab, and then we'll get some problems where there's a video and we have to change something about the formatting of the video and how it plays in PowerPoint. And there will also be some review questions from some tabs that you should already be familiar with, and those are going to be Home and Insert. So if you don't know how to do those, you might want to check out that video. And there's also a question in the View tab. Let's get started. Number 1, change the page setup to have a custom size of 7.5 by 10 inches. We don't care about the centimeters. And an orientation of the notes to be landscape. Okay, so that's going to be, this has to do with how the page is set up, or the design. The View tab, you might have been tempted to say, well, that's in the View tab. It's not, it's in Design, because View has to do with you seeing the document. How are you interacting with it? What is the zoom, or do you have a ruler? Do you not have a ruler? Design has to do with the actual presentation itself. So what's the size, the orientation, the theme, and then the backgrounds are right over here. So we are going to go to Design, Page Setup, and over here you'll see this is where you change the size. So you go through all the presets and you're going to say, no, I have to be different. I'm making a custom one. And then you just put in your 7.5. Notice how the unit is in inches. If you're really into the metric system, you're European, whatever the case may be, you just like centimeters, you can go change that in your settings. But right now it's set on inches, so we need to go with the inches. All right. And then the second part, change the orientation. That's right here. We don't want to change the slide orientation. We want to change the notes orientation to landscape. Great. Hit OK. Oh, wait, I messed this up somehow. Oh man, let me redo that. Okay, so you would do this, and you would do this. Okay. All right, and there it is. Now, I'm not gonna check our answers because I'll just show you the right answers. It's a lot more time efficient. All right, for number 2, we are going to be dealing with the theme, and the theme is also in the design category. And you'll notice that you have a drop down where it's huge. It takes up the whole, or practically all of the design tab. And we just need to change it to Thatch. So just do the drop down. They're in alphabetical order, except the first one's called Office, but then after that they're in alphabetical. So you go down here and you say, where's Thatch? And there it is. And you're done. That is it. On to number 3. Okay, now, number 3, this one is in the View tab, but this, if you're familiar with Excel, if you're familiar with Word, then you should know how to do this one already, because you're going to have to use the New Window button. That's obviously under View. And it says use the new window to open the current presentation in a new window. Then use the Arrange All to see all the open presentations. Okay, so you're just going to open it up in a new window. Voila. Okay, and then once that second window is open up, you see how I have 2 of them? In either one, I go back to View and I click Arrange All, and there they are, arranged beautifully. That is it. Now, for number 4, it says set the orientation of the current presentation to portrait. So we've seen this before. It's in Design and orientation. Now, you could go to Page Setup and do it from here, but there's a quicker method because we're just worried about the slide orientation. So just click Portrait. There you go. Nice and simple. Number 5 is a bit of a review. We have to convert the question list in slide 5 to a certain type, vertical bullet list, certain type of smart art named vertical bullet list. So be sure the very first thing that you do is to actually go to slide 5. You don't want to be doing all these edits and then get to the end and realize, oh, I was on the wrong slide the whole time. So just check that off first. Very first thing on any question, make sure you're on the right slide. Now, we have a question list. Okay, there we go. Click anywhere in it. Remember the rule of Microsoft Office. If you haven't selected an item, you can't edit it. You have to have it selected in some way, shape, or form. And I can tell I have this selected because you see how this box has not quite marching ants like we had in Excel, but it has this serrated or dotted line around it, and that means that's what's selected. So the questions inside are therefore selected. Now, if you want, you could highlight it, but you don't have to. And then you're going to convert to Smart Art. That's in the Home tab, in the Paragraph section, convert to Smart Art, and look for the vertical bullet list, which happens to be the first one. Nice and convenient, and that is it. Okay, number 6. Number 6 is a bit of a review. If you have seen my Word or Excel tutorials, you should know how to do this. And that is going to be to modify the text box on slide 3. Okay, so go to slide 3. And with the quote from Dr. Seuss, okay, that's the one right here. So make sure you select it. And we're just going to add a shape fill gradient called linear down. So notice when we selected this, we got a special tab called the Drawing Tools Format tab. It popped up. Click on it. And we know shape fill is, of course, going to be in the shape style section. And shape fill, go down to gradients. Oop, no, we don't want we don't want to go get a texture. Gradient, okay, and then linear down is right here. You just have to hover until you can find the right one. Beautiful, you are done with this question once you have done that. All right, number 7. Number 7 is we're finally going to do the one question here that has to do with video, playing the video, changing the settings on the video. So we'll just wait for it to load. Okay, on slide 4, which is right here, change the video playback options to start automatically. Now, where on earth do we do that? None of these tabs are going to have what we're looking for. Why not? What do we need to do? That's what we needed to do. You got to click on it. So click on it first, and then you're going to change the video playback options. So if you're changing the playback options, I wonder which of these tabs I'm in. It's the playback tab. All right, click on playback, and you want the video to start automatically. Now, this is an option we have when we're playing our PowerPoint. Do we want to, when we get to this slide, do we want the video to just start rolling, or do we need to wait for a click at the right moment? So you get to call the shots. You're the boss. In this case, you need to change it to automatically so it starts right when you get to this slide. And then also rewind after playing. Rewind after playing will bring you back to this freeze screen after you've watched the video. Okay, so rather than letting it sit at the end, it'll scooch you back to the beginning. Kind of an old-fashioned idea. Okay, while we're on this question, let me point out something else to you. In this problem, you'll notice these weird little things that they're not slides themselves, but these little bars right here. And what are these for? Well, these are sections. And sections, here's their purpose. They're kind of like little file folders, like organizing units for your slides. So if you don't want to, if your brain can't handle that you have 9 slides at once, or you don't want to slide through, having to scroll through all 9, notice what I did. You can do what's called collapsing. And so when you collapse a section, you take it from showing all the contents to showing none of the contents. And you can do each section individually. Once a section is condensed, then you can pop it back open. That's called expanding it. So you just have to click on that little arrow until it lights up. That's how you know you're clicking in the right spot. So those are sections, and you can edit, rename, rearrange, all that fun stuff in the Home tab right here in the Slides section. And we'll get to some questions on that later. Let's move on to, actually, it'll be the next question where we'll cover that. So let's go on to number 8. All right, we need to add a section above slide 1 named Introduction. Now, when it says add a section above slide 1, that just means you go to slide 1 and you add a section. Now, when you add a section, it's automatically going to select all the slides from the one you've currently selected, which was number 1 in this case, all the way to the end. That's just how it works always. And it's kind of a weird system, but you'll find, maybe you would think they would allow you more control, like maybe you only wanted slides 1 and 2 in this section. Well, we'll see how to do that. It'll make sense once we do this. So with this section still selected, you can right-click on it and rename. You can go to Section, click Rename, okay? You do that, and we need to call it, what, Introduction. Okay. Now, the second part is to go to slide 3, and we want to add a section there. So let's do the same thing. And then we rename it, and it's going to be named SWOT according to these instructions. Now, watch this. Notice anything? Now I have 2 sections. So luckily, or not, maybe not luckily, but if you were wondering my question from earlier, how do we change the sections so they don't go all the way to the end? That's how you do it. You add a second section. So if you wanted to make a section that was just slides 1 and 2, you would click on slide 1, you'd make that a section, and then you would go to the end, you would go to slide 3, not the end of the PowerPoint, but you'd go to the end of where you want your section to be. You'd click on 3, add another section there, and boom, you've made a little bitty section in between with just 1 and 2 in it. Yay. All right, let's move on to number 9, which luckily is a bit of a review if you remember anything from Word, because it has to do with bullets. Okay, in slide 2, always go to your slide first. Add star bullets to each point in the main text box. Now, this is, I don't want to say blacked out, but it grayed out. You can't click on anything. Why not? You didn't select anything. Click, select. If you make your edit now, it'll affect everything in the box, but if it makes you sleep better at night, you can go ahead and highlight everything. It's no skin off my back. Do whatever makes you comfy. Then you're going to go to the bullets, and you look for star bullets, and just to make sure, hover over it. Yep, that's them. That's it. You're done with this question. That was super duper easy peasy. Number 10, also a review. Okay, number 10, you go to slide 4. Set the text box with the bulleted list. So there's 2 text boxes in this slide, and it's a bit confusing because they really overlap with each other. And so just make sure you're in the one with the bullets. Now, if you're unsure, in this case, I would go ahead and try to, select all by clicking and dragging, or hit Control A, and we can see, oh yeah, this is what we wanted. It has the whole list in it. Just to make sure you're not accidentally clicking in the other Word text box that is there. Once you've done that, you need to change the number of columns to have 2 columns. So you go to the columns, you click on 2, and that's that. All right, number 11. We need to insert additional slides to the end of the current slideshow. Okay, well that's easy enough. But here's the hard part. We have to use the outline file, outline.docx. Okay, anytime we need to add a new slide of any type, that's going to be in the Home tab. Now, there is a keyboard shortcut if you just want to add a generic slide to anywhere in your presentation. You go to where you want to put it. So we want it to be at the end, so we click at the end, and you hit Control M, and that's a new slide. But that's not what we want here. So I'm going to Control Z, I'm going to undo that. So we go to number 5, like I just did, but this time we're going to follow the instructions. We're actually going to add slides that are based on an outline file. And an outline file, an outline is actually a type of file. It's something you can make in Word. You can make an outline. And based on what's in your outline, PowerPoint can import that file and convert it into slides. So you don't have to do copy, paste. You know, maybe you wrote a report or you did an outline for your report and you don't want to have to make a slide for everything that you're presenting on this report. Well, luckily you can just transfer everything over. This allows you to be super efficient, or dare I even say lazy, if that's if you're not ashamed to say you can use this to be lazy, then do it. You can say I'm being lazy. Now you're going to go to new slide, you're going to go to the drop down, and you have to say I need to use slides from outline. And then you just got to know to go to your Documents folder, your Gmetrics template. So go to Documents. I'm just showing you where it is. Gmetrics, there it is. Double click. And look at that. There they are. They're looking very nice. That's it. Now, one other option you have for adding slides, you can do different layouts of slides that you're adding, or you can select some slides and then duplicate them, or reuse slides, and you're also going to have to browse, and that'll just allow you to pull slides directly from some other PowerPoint file that you have available to you. So you just browse. You can browse for a file and you go grab one from some folder. Simple as that. On to number 12. Now, number 12 is about photo albums. Photo albums are really cool. The idea behind them is, hey, we're going to let you make a PowerPoint of a bunch of photos that you have stored on your computer without having to insert each one individually into a slide. Isn't that nice? It'll allow you to save a lot of time. So once it loads, you might say, where's my, where's everything? This is fine. It's supposed to be like this because there's no file open. Here's what you're going to do. Create a new photo album. And to do that, you go to Insert, and you go to Photo Album. Now, you could click on this button or do the drop down, either way. Now, you get this dialog box that pops up, and you have to now insert these 3 pictures. So, this first option is perfect. Insert picture from file or disk. Okay, and of course, you have to go grab them from the Gmetrics folder, and they want 1, 2, and 3, so just, highlight them all and click Insert, and there they are. Lovely, lovely photos. Now, next thing, sentence 2. These images can be found in Gmetrics folder. Okay, that's fine. Order the pictures by photo 2 first, photo 3, and then photo 1. Okay, so we have the right pictures. by clicking on each one, we can do some little manipulations to each image. We can do things like actually rotate the pictures. If you have a picture that was the wrong way, we can change the contrast and the brightness, and there's some more options down here that we'll look at. Right now, let's look at how to order the pictures. So they want it to be picture 2, 3, 1, and now it's currently 1, 2, 3. So you can use these little buttons. I'm going to click on 1, and I'm just going to scooch it to the end. Or you could have moved the other 2 upwards. And also you can do things like remove photos. You can go grab more pictures if you need. You can do something called insert a text box, and that's just, it just puts a blank slide in there. Now this isn't in the directions, but that's okay. Other things we might want to do, picture layout. So how do you want the picture to fit on the slide? Do you want it to be just one picture per slide? Do you want it to take up the whole slide, which is the first option? Or you can put 2 or 4 pictures on one slide. So let me show you 2, just so you know what this looks like. And then the frame shape, you can add a trendy or aesthetically appealing frame to your pictures. And then the last thing you might want to do is add a theme, and to do that you just have to browse for one, and they pop up in this search box, and you just pick a theme. I'm just gonna pick one, and that's it. That's actually not it. You have a few more options. You can put a caption below every picture, and then you could make them black and white. So I'm going to turn off black and white, but we'll leave everything else. All right, create. Let's get this bad boy done. Okay, so you hit create, and what happens? Well, voila, here's your photo album with all your specifications. So you have a nice title slide here. Okay, it has my name. It's just called photo album. You can call it whatever you want to call it. Notice how there's 2 slides, or not 2 slides, but well, there are 2 pictures per slide is what I'm trying to say. There also, you can't see it, but there's a black border around the pictures. They have captions, and the captions just whatever the name was. Can you edit? Yes, you can. You are able to edit. Okay, so if you wanted to say instead, that's the river and that's the leaf, you can do that. You can make any customizations. Also, if you did something you really don't like, just go back to photo album, go to the drop down, and you just hit edit. And all these things are available to you. You can, ooh, I didn't like the theme. Well, change it. It's right there. That's fine. Boom, new theme. I don't think this one matches as well, but hey, whatever floats your boat. Remember I put a text box as one of my pictures? A text box that does exactly what it says. It adds a blank text box. Kind of like instead of where a picture would go. And if we go back to our dialog box, you can see it's on our list. So if I maybe wanted to make it, the very first thing, I can go back and do that, hit update. Notice how it moved to the front of the list, or the front of the line of pictures, and I can add whatever comment I want about this. And that's enough about the photo albums. So let's move on. Number 13 is actually also about that. And 14. All right, 14 is the last tricky one. And then we're actually not going to do 15 and 16 because they are also duplicates. So one more question to go. All right. On slide 5, so you better scooch your cursor down to slide 5 and click on it. Add a row above the top row of the table. Okay, a lot of people here will go straight for this. This is not a table. Okay, this is a graph, or you chart, plot. That's not a table. This is the table. Be very careful with that. So click on that table. And it says add a row above the top row of the table. So here's how we do that. Put your cursor somewhere in the what is currently the top row. Okay? And then you have these two tabs pop up, and you're actually going to go to the second one, Layout, and you can just say Insert Above. Okay? Let me undo that and show you a second option. So I hit Control-Z to undo. Let me right-click, and you can do Insert Row Above, and it's the same exact thing. Great. Let's move on. It says merge the cells, so the ones you just created, those blue ones up here. Merge the cells and then enter the text yearly spending. Well, that's easy. We just need to worry about the merging. So here's how you merge cells. Hopefully you have heard of this, at least, especially if you watch my Excel videos. So to merge a bunch of cells, you gotta grab them first. So just click and drag. You see how they slightly change in color? Let's do that one more time. Yeah, very subtle change. And then merge cells. That's it. And I believe there's a right click. Yes, you can right click and merge. And so what happens is it takes those four together. It just squishes them together. They are no longer four. They are now one. And then you just type yearly spending in that. And that is it for this question. So, hopefully you've learned something about the design and how to format videos and create cool photo albums using the pictures that are on your computers. Tune in for my future videos and check out my channel. Thanks for watching.